3 seasons later, how does it feel for the both of you to be bringing us more entertainment?
We stuck in there. It wasn't easy, but we believed in each other, and we produced the Miss Pat Show together.
No.
The mother of grown-ass comedy returns.
I'm going on tour with Tony Free.
And nothing is going to stop her from her dream of being on tour.
My mama always told me to reach for the stars, and she hoped I hit the sun and burn the up.
Where will we find Miss Pat when season 3 kicks off? You know, how would you describe the journey you're going to take us on this season?
I would say it's a season of growth. Jordan, I think he did a great job of creating I Love Lucy kind of theme throughout the whole show. So, you know, I just show up and say the lines. When it comes down to what the season is going to be about, that's a question for Jordan on E. Cooper. Go on, kid in there, Jordan.
No, I think we find her, right? We find her based off of season 2, which is the abortion episode where she has the abortion without talking to Terry. And we kind of meet them in the season where their marriage is kind of somewhat seeming like it's falling apart, as Pat's trying to juggle this idea of having a career and being a wife and being a mother all at the same time. And that's kind of a theme throughout the season, as we really watch her juggle all these balls in the air at once. And as we see, one of them falls to the ground as she tries her best to pick it back up and see if she can make it work.
I sent it to Mom.
Relax, it's just a picture. It's a picture.
Maybe the new boss.
My cousins have arrived, and I promised them a room.
Are the got the room yet, Tony? Them women didn't sound like his cousin.
Was it important for you this season when you're working on the script to tie in like important like conversation pieces in a light way, but that still leave the viewers talking about it and thinking about it long after the episode ends?
Absolutely. You know, it's a very funny season this year. But we also still deal with topics like we deal with Brandon and doing OnlyFans, but also wanting to be a teacher and how these two things can juxtapose each other. And then also, you know, Janelle is a regular teenager, and she sends out some very interesting images of herself in order to keep a relationship intact, and really dealing with that, which a lot of parents are dealing with right now. And also just self-esteem when it comes to the internet. Miss Pat dealing with internet trolls who are calling her ugly and fat and black and all this stuff, and how she herself has to kind of like, why you
The only thing that's true is fat, because I ain't that black and I ain't ugly.
Oh no, you black as hell. She black as hell. Have you seen the show?
Of course. Of course. I remember when I watched the show, when season 1 came out, and they sent me a screener for the first episode or 2, and I remember thinking, I've never seen anything like this. Like, this woman's language. Like, I was so excited for this show. No one talks like this on TV but Miss Pat. And it's absolutely wonderful, right?
You know, I truly think Jordan feels a void for a voice and a mother like me, because, you know, for long, black people's like, hey, my mama ain't like the Cosby. My mama, you know, you make us too poor in the ghetto, you know, with the good time. Nobody really had the real balance until the Miss Pat Show came along, and people like, okay, now that's my household. Because I didn't grow up in the project, but I grew up poor, and the project is totally different than growing up in a raggedy house. So, you know, I couldn't relate to the Jefferson, but I wanted Leave It to Beaver lifestyle.
Do I look like I give a...
Other than that, nothing is holding her back.
The future of comedy, man, Miss Pat.
Pretty soon you gonna get recognized at the grocery store.
And not because they got your picture up for forging checks this time. Worked out so good, I felt like I was high. Well, clearly you ain't never been high.
The Miss Pat Show, Season 3, streaming February 23rd.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are a major risk taker, right? And this show certainly, I feel like, highlights the creative risks that you and Jordan take. Do you encourage the actors to take risks as well, is my question for the both of you.
Jordan encouraged everybody to take risks. I guarantee you, if there's a season 4, I might be flying butt naked through the set. Jordan love making us take risks. Sometimes I be like, Jordan, we ain't gonna say that. We ain't gonna, well, why we ain't gonna say that? It'll work. Jordan, this is TV.
Oh, so you mean to tell me that even Miss Pat has her limits?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, because he push it too far sometimes. And I'm like, it don't take all that, Jordan. We can still achieve to say that. No, I want you to cut her head off. But can I just stab her in the stomach?
No, the thing about Pat is that she's used to talking, you know, she's used to just being herself, and stand-up is her lane, right? That's her world. But when it comes to TV, I think she kind of had an idea that she had to be a different version of herself. And so a lot of my work is just being like, no, you can say that, you can do that, you can be that, we need that, right? Because that's not traditionally what we see on television. As you said, it's usually an edited version of ourselves, a palatable version of ourselves. And what this show is just pure Black liberation.
And on that note, Miss Pat, in what ways do you hope to serve as, you know, an example or as an inspiration to Black female comedians who, you know, watch your show, look up to you, and they're trying to get to where you are now?
Well, they're always in my inbox. Oh my God, Miss Pat, you're inspiration. And I think mainly because people see me just being myself. If you know me, I'm pretty much that character you see on TV. And to be able to be free on TV and when you're doing stand-up, I think a lot of comedian males and female flops to me because they was like, oh my God, if only, you know, Bernie Mac, can you imagine what Bernie Mac could have did with a show like this? Richard Pryor tried to give him a show like this and they took her. Oh no, this is 1980. Ain't nobody ready for all of that. So, you know, they always thanking me or thanking me, and I thank Jordan for opening up a lane where it's okay to say what you want to say and be who you want to be. You don't have to come to Hollywood and let them put you on a Tweety Bird hat if you didn't bring yourself one.
Right on, right? And Jordan, I'd like to ask you, I know this show is Miss Pat, and Miss Pat is bringing her true, authentic, you know, Black girl magic to the show. But I'm wondering how much of what we see is on page, right? Versus how much she's ad-libbing. Because I feel like Miss Pat just says whatever she wants to say and goes completely off script.
You know, but that's the thing about having her. She's there every step of the way. So she really doesn't have to ad-lib until something like, it might be like a moment where like something will happen and like something will just fly out of her mouth. But it's very rare because she actually is with it every step of the way. So like she can say, oh, I would say that. Or because we have a rehearsal period all week. So she might be ad-libbing in rehearsal and then it'll end up in the script, right? So it's like that's usually how that works. So by the time we're in front of an audience, nobody ad-libs because it's always scripted. Everything is scripted. Unless what I will do is I'll come in and I'll whisper a joke and I'll be like, say this, say that, and I won't tell the other actors. So a lot of the times the reactions that you're getting are real reactions because I've told Pat to say something, I've told Tammy to say something, and the other cast has no idea what they're gonna hear.
And the script is so good, I don't feel like I need to. You know, I'm in the writing rooms also. So if I'm doing any ad-lib, it's usually in the writer's room. Yeah. So when I get on the flow, unless the joke don't hit as hard, then I just follow the script. Again, like she said, it just popped in my head. I don't know if you saw season 2, but season 2 where we was on a diet and the daughter was eating the cake because she didn't want me and Jay Bernard to eat the cake. Now that was an ad-lib. I just stuck my finger in her mouth and ate the cake because I was like, what would a real Black mama do? Well, I don't want to be on a diet. I'm gonna get my cake out your mouth. And so it ended up being one of the most memorable moments in season 2.
Now, my last question for you both is, you know, as creatives of this series, what areas are important to highlight when you're bringing this script to life? You know, what are your goals while developing the scripts each week?
Really just telling interesting stories. Yeah. Because the funny can come. Funny's gonna come. But it's really just about telling stories that feel like they matter, that feel like we care about these characters or we care about the world or we're having interesting conversations. And then the funny just naturally comes on top of that as we're creating it. But really our first goal is just to tell interesting original stories.